I'm Colby Bowman, Business Development Manager here at Stedman Machine Company. Today we're going to give you an overview of how to properly inspect your cage mill. Cage mills are unique machines and require consistent preventive maintenance to make sure your machine stays running and produces consistent product gradation through the life of the machine. First, let's look at the exterior of the mill, specifically the bearing and shaft assemblies. It's important to get into a consistent routine of greasing your bearings. Refer to your manual for specific greasing intervals, but typically we say to grease your bearings once every 40 hours of runtime. So that can mean 5 days or that can mean 2 or 3 days. Also, it's important to look at the labyrinth seals and make sure grease is expelling from the bearing housings properly. This gets all the contaminants out of the bearing housing and ensures that your bearings last for a long time. So next we'll look at the inspection door on the sidewall of the cages. You have an inspection door here and then also on the opposite side of the mill. So a lot of people think that these inspection doors are to actually inspect the cages, which they're not. They're actually to nest the cages properly. So when you put a new set of cages in, this will help you determine how close the disc of the large cage assembly is to the sidewall of the machine, which provides a really good instance for how close the cages are together and how close they are to the housing. So next, we're going to open up the machine to inspect the cages. A really important note here is you have your housing locks. So you'll want to undo and unlatch all of your housing locks, and you'll also want to unlatch your pedestal clamps. These are really important. And then we'll go over to the push button station to open the machine. So now that we've opened up the mill, the first thing I like to do when inspecting the inside is look at the impact plates and the side liners. So this is a really good time to clean off material buildup and clean up the machine. But ultimately on the impact plates, what I like to do is check for breaking, check for cracking, check for excessive wear that you wouldn't typically see, and make sure that everything's uniform. Next, we'll go inside the machine. It can be really difficult to inspect the cages when they're inside the mill like this, but ultimately what I first like to do is I like to look at the sleeves. So I want to make sure that the sleeves aren't worn too much in the middle and that the wear is uniform. Ultimately, there's a sleeve bolt that holds this sleeve in place. Once the sleeve is worn enough, it might start getting to the sleeve bolt. That sleeve bolt's mild steel. And once material starts eating into that sleeve bolt, that's when things can get exponential, and it might throw a sleeve or it might lead to a lot of other breaking. So we want to make sure that our sleeves are in a good wear pattern and they're not reaching that sleeve bolt. Next, I like to look at the bands and discs. These are a really important part of our cage assemblies, and they're what holds our sleeves in place. So typically we see wear on the outside of these bands and these discs, typically in the groove here, and then sometimes on the exterior here. So this is all hard coat, and what you'll want to look for is to make sure that the hard coat is still intact. These bands are constructed of mild steel, so once you get under that hard coat and you get into the mild steel, wear can be exponential, and that's what we don't want to happen. So what you'll want to make sure of is that all of this hard coat is still intact. If it's not, it's time to contact us and see if these cages can be still run or if you need to have them replaced. Next thing I would do is I would look at our hub, our small cage hub, and our shaft protector, which lie inside here. Ultimately, those pieces are hard coated as well, and what you'll want to make sure of is to make sure that hard coat is still intact. The mild steel structure underneath shouldn't be eaten into. If they are, then that's a good sign that they probably need to be replaced. And then lastly, there's a hopper ring inside here as well. And that's what funnels material, feed material, to the middle of the cages. Ultimately, that hopper ring will wear at the bottom. And if that's the case, oversized material might get behind these cages and fall through the discharge. That would be oversized material uncrushed getting into your end product. So now it's time to close the mill. Ultimately, we would close the mill, and then it's really important to note how you tighten these housing locks down. So what you're going to want to do is tighten this housing lock, the bottom housing lock, on both sides first. This will properly align the retractor housing to make sure that it's not cocked to one side. After you tighten these down, you want to tighten the pedestal clamps down, and then the rest of the housing locks. And that's how you close our mill. Thanks for watching, and call us today 24/7 if you need any inspections or repair work done to your cage mill. Thank you.